You see it everywhere these days in video, journalism, you name it. The rise of the one-person crew. It's this idea that one single person can do it all, from the very first spark of an idea to hitting that final publish button. But is that the ultimate creative freedom we're all chasing, or is it just a fast track to burning out? Let's get into the reality of what it means to go solo. So, let's just start with a question for you. Could you really be a one-person film crew? Could you handle every single role all by yourself? It's a massive, massive question, and it's really the core of what we're going to dig into today. All right, first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. What does it actually mean to be a one-person crew? The term gets tossed around a lot, but believe me, the job is way more intense than most people think. To put it simply, solo production means you are it. You're the writer, you're the director, the camera operator, the sound mixer, and the editor. You're not just some specialist in one area. You are the entire assembly line from start to finish. And just look at this list. This is the toolkit you've got to master. And these aren't just little items on a to-do list, right? Each one of these, lighting, script writing, audio, is its own career path. In the solo model, it all falls on your shoulders, every last bit of it. Now, I know that sounds incredibly overwhelming, but there's a huge reason people are drawn to this. So let's talk about the upside. Because for a lot of creators, the freedom of going solo isn't just a nice perk, it's the whole reason they do it. You can almost think of these as the 5 superpowers of a solo creator. You get absolute creative freedom, you're incredibly fast and nimble, you save a ton of money, and you often get a much closer, more intimate connection with your subject. Let's zoom in on a couple of the biggest ones. This right here is the big one. This is the promise of a pure, uncompromised vision. There's no committee to convince, no client who just doesn't get it. It's your story, told exactly your way. And for so many creatives, that kind of control is absolutely priceless. And then you've got agility. Think about it. Some breaking news happens. A full crew? They've got to coordinate, they need transport, logistics. It takes time. But a solo creator? You just grab your gear and go. You can literally move at the speed of the story itself. And that is a massive, massive advantage. But here's the twist, and this is so important. Every superpower has a shadow. That total creative freedom we just talked about, well, it also means you have absolutely no one to tell you when you have a bad idea. Your unique vision can pretty quickly turn into creative tunnel vision with no one around to pull you back. And that brings us to the real price of all this independence. We've got to face the reality here, because the challenges, they're serious. They can absolutely sink a project, or even worse, lead to complete and total burnout. And this is how it usually happens. This is the classic path to burnout. It all starts with just a crushing workload. That workload then creates constant strain. You're physically tired from lugging gear, you're mentally drained from juggling a dozen things at once. And, inevitably, that exhaustion leads to mistakes. And that's when the quality of your work starts to suffer. And if you look at how this breaks down, it's pretty clear. Almost half the burden of working solo is just the sheer volume of stuff you have to do. But look at what comes right after that: mental strain and quality control. It's like a chain reaction. The heavy workload directly causes the stress that leads you to cut corners. And really, it all comes down to this. When you work alone, you are the single point of failure. If your camera breaks, if a hard drive gets corrupted, or hey, if you just get sick, the entire project grinds to a halt. There is no backup. There's no one else to step in. So, after looking at the incredible highs and the pretty scary lows, what's the final verdict? You've got this amazing empowerment on one side and total exhaustion on the other. Is going solo really worth it? The whole dilemma really boils down to this table right here. It's a trade-off. For that independence and freedom, you accept the high stress and workload. For that speed and agility, you accept the risk to your final quality. It's not about which side is better. It's about knowing exactly what you're getting into before you start. But maybe the most important thing to take away from all this is that no matter what the challenges are, the ability to produce work on your own has become an absolutely essential skill. Even if you end up on a big team, understanding that whole process from top to bottom makes you a better, more valuable creator, period. So we end right back where we started, with a question for you. It's not just about whether you can do it all alone, it's about whether you should. What are you willing to trade, and what are you willing to risk to bring your vision to life?